Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at NVIDIA, the company behind those graphics cards that make our games look incredible. Well, their stock has practically tripled this year. And that's because NVIDIA is not just about gaming anymore. They're really at the forefront of AI.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how NVIDIA has become so central to the AI revolution. It's not just hype. Their hardware and software are actually driving these AI applications that we see everywhere, from those self-driving cars to medical diagnostics.
Yeah, and we've got some great sources to dive into today. We've got NVIDIA's Q3 financial report for fiscal year 2025. We've got analysis from market experts and some articles about NVIDIA's latest AI products. So let's unpack all this and figure out, what's behind this massive stock surge.
Well, their latest financial report definitely gives us a big clue. They just announced record revenue, $35.1 billion. That's a 94% increase year over year. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, 94%. That's mind-blowing. Where is all this revenue coming from? It can't just be gamers buying new graphics cards, can it?
No, you're right. It's much bigger than that. Their data center revenue more than doubled this quarter, reaching a staggering $30.8 billion. And this really points to the demand for NVIDIA's AI chips, especially their Hopper architecture.
So data centers are the big moneymaker here. But I was reading that even after exceeding expectations, NVIDIA's stock actually dipped a little bit after they made this announcement. Shouldn't it have gone up?
That's a great question, and it really shows how complex the market can be. It seems like the market might have already priced in those high expectations, but it also highlights how influential NVIDIA is. Their performance can actually move entire market indices.
Wow, so their stock is powerful.
Mm.
But what's driving this AI gold rush that's making NVIDIA so valuable?
I think there are a few key factors at play here. First, NVIDIA is the clear leader in AI hardware right now. Their Hopper architecture, which is designed for high-performance computing, and AI is in huge demand. And there's a lot of anticipation for their next-generation platform, Blackwell, but it's not just about the chips.
Yeah, it sounds like there's more to the story than just powerful hardware. What else is giving them an edge?
Well, strategic partnerships are a big part of their success. NVIDIA is teaming up with industry giants like Foxconn to build AI supercomputers, Toyota to develop AI for next-generation vehicles, and even SoftBank to bring their AI technology to Japan. These partnerships aren't just about current projects. They really signal a lot of growth potential for the future.
So they're the brains behind the operation, but they're also smart about who they work with. This is fascinating. And it's not just data centers and partnerships, is it? I saw they're involved in other areas too, like gaming and robotics.
Absolutely. Their gaming division had a really strong quarter. And they are definitely pushing the boundaries in other areas like telecommunications and robotics.
Speaking of pushing boundaries, let's dive into some of these NVIDIA AI innovations. There were two projects that really caught my eye. First up, AI Aerial. This is a platform for telecom companies. What's that all about?
AI Aerial combines AI with 5G and even 6G technology. So imagine a network that can not only transmit data, but can also learn and adapt in real time. That's what AI Aerial is all about.
And I read somewhere that this platform can actually run generative AI, like the stuff that powers those chatbots and image generators, alongside regular network traffic. That seems like such a huge leap forward.
You're absolutely right. That capability opens up so many possibilities for telecom companies, personalized network experiences, enhanced security. It could even create entirely new revenue streams. Potentially, we're talking billions of dollars in new business.
Wow. Okay, now, for the project that sounds straight out of science fiction, Project GR00T, what is NVIDIA doing with robots?
Project GR00T is a suite of AI tools designed specifically for humanoid robots. Think of it as a toolkit that allows robots to learn by watching and mimicking human actions.
So they're not just pre-programmed, they can actually learn. That's incredible. I read that robots using GR00T can even figure out how to use tools just by observing humans. It's like they're downloading skills straight from our brains.
That's a great way to put it. This is a huge step towards building robots that are more versatile and capable than ever before. We could see these robots working in manufacturing, healthcare, and who knows, maybe even helping us out around the house someday.
And the fact that they're partnering with companies like Boston Dynamics, the ones who build those super agile robots we see online, makes it even more exciting. But before we get too carried away with the future of robots, let's take a look at what the internet is saying about all of this, about NVIDIA's performance.
Well, the internet, as always, has a range of opinions. Some analysts are cautiously optimistic, pointing out potential challenges like supply chain issues and geopolitical risks. But overall, people seem pretty impressed with what NVIDIA has accomplished.
Yeah, it's hard not to be impressed by those numbers. But you mentioned some potential challenges. What are those about, and should we be worried?
Yeah, I mean, it's important to remember that the tech world is super competitive. NVIDIA might be leading the pack in AI hardware right now. But you've got companies like AMD right behind them. They're constantly innovating and trying to catch up.
So NVIDIA can't just sit back and relax, right? How do they plan to stay ahead?
That's where their approach gets interesting. They're not just focused on making the most powerful chips. They're building a whole ecosystem around AI. Developing software platforms, collaborating with key players in all sorts of different industries, creating tools that make it easier for developers to work with AI. It's this broader strategy that gives them a real advantage.
So they're playing the long game, building a foundation for, sustained growth. Makes sense. We talked about that little dip in NVIDIA's stock price, even though they had record revenue. What are the experts saying about that?
Well, there are a couple different ways of looking at it. Some analysts think that maybe the market got a little bit ahead of itself, expecting even bigger growth than NVIDIA delivered, at least in the short term. Others believe it was just a natural correction, investors taking profits after such a huge surge in the stock price.
So basically, some people got a little too excited about the potential, and they decided to cash in their chips when the good news actually arrived, even though the news was really good.
Exactly. It just reminds us that the stock market isn't always driven by logic. Emotions and speculation can play a big role, especially when you're dealing with something as hot as AI. But let's get back to the technology itself for a minute. We were talking about those two fascinating AI projects, AI Aerial for telecom and Project GR00T for robotics. They seem like very different applications of AI. Is there anything that connects them?
I think they both highlight how NVIDIA is focused on creating AI that is both powerful and flexible. AI Aerial needs to be able to handle the immense complexity of, modern telecom networks, while GR00T needs to enable robots to learn and adapt in the real world.
Precisely. It's not just about brute processing power. It's about designing AI that can solve real-world problems in all kinds of different contexts. And that's where NVIDIA's expertise in both hardware and software really comes into play. They can optimize that entire system, from the chips to the algorithms, to really get the best performance and efficiency.
It's like they're playing 4D chess, thinking about the bigger picture of AI and how it can be applied across all these different industries. But let's bring it back down to earth for a second. What does all of this mean for the average person? How will NVIDIA's success actually impact our lives?
That's the big question, isn't it? I think in the near future, we're going to see NVIDIA technology powering more and more of the devices and services we use every day. Think about smartphones that are even faster, voice assistants that are more responsive, online experiences that are truly tailored to our individual needs.
So AI is going to become this invisible force that shapes our digital lives.
In a way, yes. But it goes beyond just convenience. AI has the potential to completely revolutionize things like healthcare, education, transportation. Imagine AI-powered tools that can detect diseases earlier, personalized learning platforms that are catered to each student's strengths, or self-driving cars that make our roads safer and more efficient.
Those are some pretty big promises. I mean, we've all heard the hype about AI before. What makes this time different? Is NVIDIA really going to be able to deliver on all of this?
That's where things get a little tricky. The potential is definitely there. But there are challenges and risks to think about. One of the biggest ones is the ethical side of AI. As these systems become more powerful and more independent, we need to make sure that they're used responsibly. We don't want them to reinforce existing biases or create new social problems.
We don't want to end up in some sci-fi movie where the robots take over. So what's being done to address these ethical concerns?
There's a growing movement within the AI community to develop ethical guidelines and frameworks for responsible AI development. And companies like NVIDIA are starting to incorporate these principles into their design processes. But it's an ongoing conversation, and it's one that society as a whole needs to be involved in.
It's not just about the technology itself. It's about how we use it and the values that we embed in it. That's a lot to think about. We've talked about NVIDIA's dominance in data centers, their ventures into robotics and telecom, and the ethical considerations surrounding AI. But what about their financial future? Can they keep up this incredible growth?
That's the question everyone's asking. And as with most things in the financial world, the answer is it's complicated.
Come on, you can't leave us hanging like that. What are the key things that we should be watching for to understand where NVIDIA is headed?
All right. Let's break it down. There are a few major factors to keep an eye on.
I'm all ears.
First, the launch of their Blackwell platform is going to be crucial. if it lives up to the hype, and delivers the kind of performance boost that everyone's expecting. It could really solidify NVIDIA's position as the AI hardware leader for years to come.
So Blackwell is kind of like the next big blockbuster movie. Everyone's waiting to see if it's a hit or a flop.
That's a great analogy. Second, the success of AI aerial in the telecom market is going to be another big indicator. If NVIDIA can convince those major telecom companies to adopt this platform, it could be a huge new revenue stream for them.
And potentially change the way we communicate entirely.
Potentially, yes. And finally, keep an eye on their progress in robotics. Project GR00T is just the beginning. If NVIDIA can figure out how to build truly adaptable and capable robots, it could unlock so many possibilities, not just for industries, but for society as a whole.
So Blackwell, AI aerial, and robotics, those are the three big things to watch for in NVIDIA's future.
In a nutshell, yes. But we have to remember that the future is always uncertain. There are always unexpected challenges and opportunities that can pop up.
So it sounds like we should just buckle up and enjoy the ride, because things are about to get even more interesting. In the world of NVIDIA and AI.
That's a great way to put it. And remember, this is just the start. The real impact of AI is still unfolding. And NVIDIA is right there at the forefront helping shape that future.
Well, that's a lot to think about. But before we wrap up, I always like to leave our listeners with a question, something to ponder. So here it is. NVIDIA's success is tied to the continued growth of AI. Where do you see AI having the biggest impact in the next 5 years?
That's a great question. Will it be healthcare, transportation, entertainment, or something we haven't even imagined yet? I mean, the possibilities are really mind-boggling.
And a little bit intimidating, to be honest. But hey, that's what makes this whole AI thing so fascinating. It's like we're standing on the edge of a new era, and we have no idea what's coming next.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? The unknown is what drives innovation and progress. And with companies like NVIDIA pushing the limits of what's possible, it really is an exciting time to be alive.
I couldn't agree more. So to sum it all up, is NVIDIA just riding a wave of hype? Or are they truly revolutionizing industries with AI?
Well, while there's definitely a lot of buzz around AI, NVIDIA's success isn't built on hype alone. They're delivering real innovation, they're forming strategic partnerships, and they're creating solutions that really have the potential to transform entire industries.
But the question is, can they keep this momentum going?
That's the multi-billion-dollar question. Keep an eye on the development of Blackwell, the rollout of AI aerial, and those advancements in robotics with GR00T. Those are going to be the key indicators of NVIDIA's future success.
There you have it, folks. NVIDIA is definitely a company to watch, and the future of AI is something we should all be paying attention to. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of NVIDIA and AI. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those big questions.